I was studying the Bible one evening and I came to Genesis 1:26 and 27. Let us create man in our image. In our image, let us create man, male and female. And I'm thinking to myself, how can God be us and him at the same time? And when I spoke to my rabbi, the answers that he gave me just didn't resonate with me.
And that's a common theme we're finding, that a lot of the teachers of the law of Moses, right? They can't explain it, like they don't know why themselves, and it all relates to Isaiah 29, which happened to me. That says that God closed the scriptures, closed the book, it'll become like a closed book to you. You're not going to be able to understand. He's poured out a spirit of deep sleep on the people. So if you relate to that, actually, cry out, ask for God to teach you. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. Hey guys, it's Garrett coming to you live from Daily Divers. It's your Daily Dive Disciple. We're here for Testimonial Tuesday. So I got another one, good one for you guys. This is another Jewish come to Christ, Jewish man. His dad was actually president of the synagogue, so another one of those. And so he was seeking truth, and everything he was fed from his leaders wasn't good enough, right? He wanted more. So his heart cried out actually to God, and God answered. So let's kind of see. I'm going to show you this testimonial here. So basically, reading the Tanakh is what kind of led him, which is pretty cool. So let's see here.
Here's God, and here he's speaking of himself in plural and singular pronouns. Everything now is upside down. I had this warm feeling come over my body from head to toe. The synagogue was a big part of our life. My father, over the years, was president of the synagogue. We observed all the holidays. We were always looking back on what God had done in the past. And I began to ask myself, what is God doing now? Why are we always looking back? In my early 20s, I drifted away from the synagogue. I was looking for meaning and purpose in my life. I started searching down different avenues, Eastern religions, transcendental meditation. After I had exhausted all avenues, I sold everything and went to a maritime school and started shipping out on merchant ships for 11 years. I spent a lot of time in the Far East and in Eastern Europe and South and Central America. And wherever I went, I would go to a synagogue and then a house of worship for that particular culture. But I always took with me my Torah and Tanakh, the Hebrew Scriptures, and rabbinic literature. I was studying the Bible one evening and I came to Genesis 1:26 and 27. Let us create man in our image. In our image, let us create man, male and female. And I'm thinking to myself, how can God be us and him at the same time? And when I spoke to my rabbi, the answers that he gave me just didn't resonate with me.
And that's a common theme we're finding, that a lot of the teachers of the law of Moses, right? They can't explain it, like they don't know why themselves, and it all relates to Isaiah 29, which happened to me. That says that God closed the scriptures, closed the book, it'll become like a closed book to you. You're not going to be able to understand. He's poured out a spirit of deep sleep on the people. So if you relate to that, actually, cry out, ask for God to teach you. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, actually. But it's part of what what Paul always says. He says, examine yourself, see if you're still, in the faith. That's not wrong to do. That's what actually brought me to Christ. I became born again. I thought I was saved. I'm sure as he probably thought he was saved. He was a Jew. They all think they're saved. But anyway.
As I was continuing to study, I noticed the personal relationship that God had with our fathers, with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Moses and Joshua. God spoke with them and they made sacrifice and made altars, and I didn't have that relationship with God. At the synagogue, no one had that personal relationship, so I began to pray, God, I want to know you like our fathers.
Seek me with your whole heart, right? And he says, I'll come to you. which actually, by the way, if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, please. This helps with the algorithm. But then also, I have stay to the end. I got some I got a Bible passage to relate to this, so you guys can kind of see everything he's talking about is biblical. But anyway, just that's so awesome to see that every video we find, nothing's good enough, right? The world isn't good enough, or his hunger and thirst to know more isn't good enough. And this guy's traveling the world, going to all these different cultures and studying their religions and finding it's not fulfilling him. He wants more. He desires a relationship, not a religion, which is awesome. That God, gives us these perfect testimonials. He does this, right? He does it. We don't. He does.
As I continued my study through the law of Moses, the prophets, and the writings, a resume of the Messiah began to develop. What family he would be born into, what lineage, when he would come. It built a very strong case for Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah. So by then I began to pray, God, if Yeshua is the Jewish Messiah and Savior of the world, please reveal this to me. One evening as I was driving from Sarasota to Panama City, I saw 4 crosses along the side of the road over the course of the trip. And when I looked at them, this overwhelming sense of joy and peace came over my body from head to toe. From that moment on, I began to think of Jesus. His name would just appear in my mind, and I would have this overwhelming feeling of joy and peace and contentment. One day I was reading a book and I'd fallen asleep, and all of a sudden in my mind's eye, I heard Yeshua Adonai, Yeshua my Lord, and I woke up. And what was that? When I had shared with my family that I had received Yeshua as my Messiah, there was a lot of rejection. And they said, how could you do this? And don't you know what Christians have done to our people over the years? And thought I had joined a cult. Years later, they've seen the positive change in my life. And now Maxie and I are, for the most part, assimilated back into our families. We're being invited to weddings and bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, and it's a wonderful thing. Sometimes it's not easy to be a Jewish follower of Yeshua, so I would encourage everyone to pray for the Jewish people, to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and to pray for the salvation of Israel.
Wow, what a beautiful testimony. I mean, yeah, and he kind of relates to all the other ones, but his family said they thought that he joined a cult. He didn't talk about joining a church. He just read the Bible. and saw he sought God with his whole heart. Show me who the Messiah is, right? And he did. That's what he does. He does. But let's kind of jump here. I just got one verse for you guys because I know sometimes my videos can last a little longer. So here's what I found. Jeremiah 29:11 through 14. God says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. And then you will call upon me and come to pray and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. And you will seek me and find me. When you seek me and find me when you seek me with your whole heart, and I will be found by you, declares the Lord. And I will restore your fortunes, and I'll gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, declares the Lord, and I'll bring you back to the place where I've sent you into exile. Which is kind of symbolic to what he does to us. We're lost without him, right? But once we call out with our whole heart, we're finally found, right? And but anyway, again, guys, if this helped you, please like, comment, share, subscribe to your family members, share to your family members, and subscribe. Sorry, it's still early for me over here. But to the next time, guys. Friday, Shenanigan Friday. Stick around. But to the next one. See you guys. Bye-bye.